In the heart of Kaduna, where the rivers whispered to the wind and the earth gave plenty, lived two men whose lives were as different as night and day. One, called Jabari, was a man of great wealth. His barns overflowed with grain, his animals grazed on the plains, and his house stood tall with shining pillars under the sun. People talked about his riches, the big parties he threw, and the fancy clothes he wore, but few talked about his heart. The other, called Malik, was a man of simple means. He owned no big house, no fields of corn, and no fine robes. His home was a small hut at the edge of the city. His meals were simple, but his heart was full. He knew the old stories, the ways of the land, and the wisdom hidden in simple things. One evening, as the market bustled with people selling their goods, Jabari sat with his rich friends, bragging about his wealth. "What is a man worth if he has no gold?" he laughed. "Doesn't a bird build the best nest it can find? Doesn't a lion rule because it's strong? Wealth is power, and power is everything." The others agreed, but an old trader, shaking his head, said, "Wealth is like the river, it flows today and dries up tomorrow. But wisdom is like the roots of a big tree, it stays strong in every season." Jabari scoffed. "Words of the weak. Tell me, who in this city is wiser than me?" The trader smiled. "There is a man named Malik. He owns little, but his wisdom is richer than gold. Go to him, and you might learn something important." Jabari's pride flared up. How could a poor man be wiser than him? He decided to prove that wealth was greater than wisdom. The next morning, Jabari rode his best horse to Malik's small home. He found the poor man sitting under a tree, teaching children how to weave mats from palm leaves. "You are Malik?" Jabari asked, looking down at him. "I am," Malik answered with a kind smile. "I hear people say you are wise," Jabari said. "Let's see if wisdom can do what gold can. I give you this bag of coins. Take it and come back in 1 month with something that is worth more than money." Malik took the bag without hesitation. "Very well. In 1 month, you will have your answer." Jabari rode away, sure that the poor man would fail. He thought Malik would either waste the gold or come back with nothing. Days turned into weeks. The people of Kaduna talked about the test. Some said Malik had run away, others thought he had buried the gold. But when the month was over, Malik returned to Jabari's big house with only a small wooden box. Jabari, surrounded by his friends, smirked. "Where is my gold? Have you lost it?" Malik put the wooden box before him. "Inside this box is something worth more than gold," he said. Jabari opened it and found papers with writing on them. His smile disappeared. "What is this nonsense?" Malik stayed calm. "These are the debts of 20 families in this city. I used your gold to pay what they owed. Now, they don't have to worry about their debts anymore. Instead of being afraid of you, they now see you as a friend." Jabari's face grew dark. "You used my money on others. You gave away what was mine." Malik nodded. "Tell me, Jabari, would you rather have people who dislike you or people who respect you? You have more wealth than anyone in Kaduna, but your heart is empty. Today, you have bought something much greater than gold, you have bought loyalty and goodwill." Silence filled the hall. The rich men who had laughed earlier now talked quietly among themselves. They saw the truth in Malik's words. A man with wealth but no kindness was poorer than a man with wisdom. Jabari, for the first time in his life, had nothing to say. That night, he couldn't sleep. The weight of Malik's lesson pressed on his heart. He had spent his years chasing gold, but what had it brought him? Servants who obeyed out of fear. Friends who stayed only for his parties. Wealth that could disappear with one bad turn of events. The next day, Jabari rode again to Malik's home. He found the poor man teaching children how to plant yams. "I have come to learn," Jabari said quietly. Malik smiled and gave him a hoe. "Then let us begin." From that day on, Jabari spent time with Malik. He listened to his stories, watched what he did, and slowly, his heart began to change. He learned to share, to understand, and to lead not with pride, but with wisdom. When a terrible drought hit Kaduna, the rivers dried up, and the land cracked. The rich people kept their grain, afraid of hunger, but Jabari did not. He opened his barns and fed the people. And when the rains came back, the people thanked him by planting his fields, taking care of his animals, and making sure his wealth was restored. But this time, his riches were not just in his barns, but in the hearts of those who stood by him. Years later, Jabari sat under the same tree where he had first met Malik. He looked at the people of Kaduna, strong, united, doing well. He turned to his friend. "Tell me, Malik, is there anything greater than wisdom?" Malik smiled. "Yes, my friend. The ability to share wisdom with others. A wise man who keeps knowledge to himself is no different from a rich man who keeps gold to himself." Jabari nodded. He built a big school where the children of Kaduna could learn not just how to trade and build, but how to think and lead with kindness. He invited wise teachers from other places, making sure that wisdom would never again be hidden by pride. And so, the people of Kaduna learned that while gold could build walls, only wisdom could build bridges that lasted forever. The name of Jabari, once known for arrogance, became a symbol of generosity. And Malik, though he stayed in his simple home, was the richest man in all of Kaduna, not in gold, but in the hearts of those who valued his teachings. For generations, parents told their children the story of the rich man's pride and the poor man's wisdom, reminding them that true wealth is not in what we keep, but in what we give. They added to the story, telling how Jabari and Malik worked together to improve Kaduna. They built wells so everyone had clean water, and they created a system where farmers could share their crops so no one went hungry. They established a council of elders, where wise men and women helped to solve problems and make sure everyone was treated fairly. The story also told how Jabari learned to listen to the people, not just the rich. He realized that everyone had something to offer, whether it was their skill in weaving, their knowledge of herbs, or their ability to tell stories. He started to value the contributions of everyone in the community, and he learned that true leadership meant serving others. Malik continued to teach the children, and his lessons went beyond reading and writing. He taught them about honesty, kindness, and respect. He showed them how to work together, how to solve problems peacefully, and how to appreciate the simple things in life. He encouraged them to ask questions, to think for themselves, and to always seek the truth. The story also emphasized the importance of balance. It wasn't about rejecting wealth altogether, but about understanding its proper place. Jabari's wealth became a tool for the betterment of Kaduna. He used it to fund the school, to support struggling families, and to build infrastructure that benefited everyone. He learned that wealth was not an end in itself, but a means to create a better world. And the story continued to be told, not just as a tale of two men, but as a living reminder of the values that made Kaduna a prosperous and harmonious community. It became a story about the power of transformation, about the importance of humility, and about the enduring value of wisdom. It was a story about how a community, through the lessons learned by two men, could build a future where everyone had the opportunity to thrive.